We got to protect our borders. We got to have a strong military. We got to take care of our currency better than we do right now, quite frankly. But we shouldn't be into all of these other areas trying to solve all things for all people. There are 342 economic development programs at the federal level. Because one senator, one congressman, these are trying to control the economy. It's redundant, it's ridiculous, and it's weighing down our economy and our government. It's a nightmarish bureaucracy. And so I think you have to get back to limited government and free enterprise. I'm a businessman, and I believe in the Constitution as from a practical application perspective. How contracts have to be enforced. We have to have a legal system, but the private sector has to be free to survive. Liberty means we have a constitutional legal system framework, and that we're freed up to determine our own destiny. Government's trying to save us at every turn. They're trying to determine the outcomes for us. That is completely wrong and not at all what I believe is enshrined as inalienable rights in our Constitution and our founding documents. So getting back to those core principles are critical. I believe I bring a whole different or perspective to this, and I'll give you an example. You do not get 2,700-page healthcare bills from businessmen. Okay? Who writes those?
Center for American
Lawyers, lobbyists, people who have a stake in that. Businessmen have to have concise, real solutions or they fail in the marketplace. That's why I think you should consider, for your vote, somebody who can go back there and we need real solutions. The country is in a crisis. We need to turn this ship around dramatically. And if I had 51 small businessmen in the Senate of both parties, you would get different solutions. Today there's 54 lawyers in the Senate. And my son gave me a great quote. I'll give you this quote and then I'll kind of wrap up if I can, let you go. But he was assigned to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is for his English class at Timothy High School. And he said, Dad, you've got to use this quote. It's perfect for your campaign. He said, the problem in Washington, D.C. is that we have a highly educated group of people who have never managed cash flow and don't understand the relationship between revenues and expenses. Now let that sink in for just a minute. People don't understand the relationship to our economy, our sound financial system, and getting government out of the way so we can be free to determine our own destiny. They're trying to do too much. So every time government grows, it takes away freedoms and rights, and it chokes our private sector. I get that. I understand that as a businessman. Let me close up by saying the following. That is that I'm running for the Senate because I want to make a difference. I've made a difference in my entire life. I grew up in simple circumstances. When I announced my campaign, I went back to my neighborhood that I grew up in, a trailer park in West Jordan. And I did that for two reasons. Number one, I wanted people to know that's who I am. I grew up, I said, I brought all my neighbors out and my family and friends, and I said, I want to represent these people whose voices are not being heard in Washington, D.C. I think it tells you where I'm from, who I am. Number two, though, and more importantly, there's some symbolism. And that is in our trailer park, we had a tip out. Do you know what a tip out is? It gives you 3 feet extra in the living room. So if you have a single wide, you want to upgrade to a trailer with a tip out. If you have a trailer with a tip out, you want to upgrade to a double wide. Everybody knows that. We get it as Americans. We understand that that's the progress of life. America is a land of opportunity. It's the greatest nation the world has ever known. It needs to continue to be the greatest nation the world has ever known. I've lived the American dream, not unlike thousands of Utahns, not unlike millions of Americans. That dream is at risk. We are the first generation of parents today that feel like their children are not going to have it as good as we had it. The dynamic is we are off track fundamentally, and we've got to change course. When I think about running for the U.S. Senate, I want the legacy that we leave to be the right legacy. 50 years from now, when we're all gone, when 2 generations have now come and they're in the position that we're in, are they going to look back at us and say, those guys were selfish, they depended on the government spending, they had to have everything, they bankrupted this country, they made our currency worthless, they gave to us a second-tier nation because they couldn't make the tough decisions? Or are they going to be like we are today? We owe great gratitude to the previous generations that gave us this America. Are they going to look back at us and say, they made the tough choices at a time when America needed tough choices to make? They cut government spending. They got America back on its track. They delivered to us the land of opportunity, the greatest nation, American exceptionalism that this world has ever known, and America is still strong and great. That's the legacy I want to fight for. If I'm elected as your U.S. Senator, that's what I will work towards every day that I'm in office, to make sure that we can sacrifice as Americans and get our country back on track. Make real changes to the direction of this country and this economy. If we don't, that legacy is at risk. I hope you'll consider joining our campaign. You can sign up online here. Maybe you've signed up already or given us some information. We need your support because less than 5 weeks away is the convention, and I'm hopeful to retire Senator Bennett gracefully. You're all invited to Senator Bennett's retirement party on May 8th as delegates. But I do hope you have a chance to consider joining our campaign, that you can be confident that we will fight for the things that Utah deserves. We are the best part of this nation. Utah represents the greatest part of this nation: fiscal responsibility, a Judeo-Christian belief system that makes this country strong, small business, frugality in a way that isn't being represented at federal government levels, and I believe personal responsibility and self-reliance, which is ingrained in our people in this state and is not represented in Washington. I have to go back and be your voice. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming out in the morning, and be careful on the roads. Good to see you again. Sorry, good to see you again.